Hello everyone, Rockclimber here, and today, guys, I'm gonna review one of a mock, yes, a mock from the Project S, of course. So the Project S, for those who don't know, it's a project, in fact, in which me and my friend Shaddow, we revamp or remake all the 12 slicer set, in fact, into a new, more modern canister size mug, in fact. And well, today I'm gonna review one of the Shadow's mug because, well, he didn't really want to make some English review, but well, his mug are quite cool, so I will still it will be me which will review this mug. But of course, all the construction of the building was made by Shaddow, and so all the credits goes to him for this mug. So today I'm gonna review a rock, also known as granite in the US, of course, with the Throwbot team and not the Slicer one. So of course the color scheme is quite the same, so this means using some old dark gray and some some tan color. The only exception is the use of two silver parts. Well, you don't really have the choice to use some tan part or some dark gray part, so that's why you use some silver part. So I'm going to do a turnaround. So of course you may remember that the first slicer set, so the first rock set, was in fact a four-legged guy, in fact, so kind of like this version. But in fact this version is quite different because it can of course be posed in a four-legged position, so the one you see right here, when I'm doing the turnaround, but also, unlike the city's mock of Shaddow, so the car, it can also be put in some more traditional two-legged mode. So I'm gonna put off this part. Excuse me, and here we go. I'm gonna put maybe the ends just like that. And here we go, we have the two-legged mode of work, in fact. And well, the only problem is that the parts keep falling off, so that's quite annoying, but well, yes, I may just do it a turnaround, but I think that will be really quick, and then of course I will talk about the construction, because it's really an interesting one, because usually with Shaddow it's mostly, or at least most of the time, and for its slicer mode, it's every time a new custom body frame, so it's quite, I think, interesting for all the mockers out there. So first of all, I think I'm gonna divide this guy into two sections. So there was just one way to do that, and this is well, yeah, come off like that. Excuse me. And we're just going to put this part off, and yeah, I'm going to talk about the lower part first, because also it's a quite interesting one. So as you can see, I used a simple Metro pelvis part right here, so nothing really new right there. At first it did different legs which were really not articulated at all. In fact, they just got like 2 points of articulation, and that was quite bad. So I said to him, well, if you can change this, it will be cool. And finally he changed his mind and decided to change the legs. So here's the new version, which is in fact quite interesting and quite complicated to explain. So well, first of all, he chose to put a connector, then an axle of 3. Then he links this axle of 3 through, and you can't really see that because he put tons of parts, but this tan part is a body part from the 2003 Mato one, so from the Molto one. So this is a body part from Yuki or Afu, maybe, I don't, yes, from one of the 3 guys, because the 3 guys share the same color, so by the way, nothing really interesting. So yes, he put this axle through this part, and in fact it's gonna do all the legs around this part. So this means, for example, using the hole right here and also the hole right there to put some parts here. This part will be really useful to well, to link this slicer head part, because in fact, as you can see, there is two axles right there, but they are not linked to anything, in fact. So this means this part is just blocked thanks to all these little gray and black parts, which are linked thanks to the axle of 3 I've shown you earlier, and also thanks to a little pin put right there. Then it chooses to put the tube part and then a 2006 ball joint to have an articulation. But of course, as you can see, because it's in an axle in a pinhole, it keeps moving on. So its solution to the problem was to put this part, so which one side is an axle, the other side is a pin. Then he put this little part, which we call the egg part because it has a shape of an A. Link it through the axle. All axle holes, and here we go, it's linked perfectly, and there is no problem at all with this first part of the legs. And then the second one, of course, is well, not that complicated, because in fact it's just an waxy leg part. So as you can see, it's the same stuff, the same part plus a connector right here to link to the ball joint. And then of course he got a free ball joint in which he put an other foot plus the part 2 kind of not really weapon but staff. Part 2 all that stuff. And here we go for the legs, which are quite in fact ingenious because they are all made around this made a multi-one body part, which is not really a part you use often when you mock, in fact, I have to say. And of course the two legs are actually the same, so I'm not gonna talk about the legs any longer, because now we're gonna talk about the body, which is also quite complicated because it's a again, it's a custom frame. So let me recall. Okay, we're gonna put this part. Well, there we go. It's linked perfectly. So first of all, out of this part. So all the, not really all the frame, but an half of the body frame is made through this waxy back part. So as you can see right here, of course, with the curved part, which is really a famous one. Not really famous, but you can recognize this part between tons or between others, in fact, really simply. So, well, what did he do? So yes, he put this part and he linked some L-shaped parts right here. This L-shaped part will be useful first of all to link this T-shaped part and also this little part, so this part with an axle hole and a pin hole. These two parts then will be useful to link, of course, the lower part of the body I've just shown you. Notice the little tan part, which is here just useful to link another T-shaped part plus the connector and the showing disc arm from, of course, the original slicer. Then we're gonna look on the upper section, which, as you can see, he put just normal axles and put 3 connectors. On the two side connectors, he put 1 ball joint plus the Parak var also a recolor of the Oniwa Turaga Oniwa weapon, so Oniwa hammer, excuse me, which will be of course useful to represent the hammer that the original slicer has on its back. So here's for the little details, for those who don't know the original slicer set. Then on the middle connector, you're gonna put this Barak arms and a connector, and then link to the head thanks to this technique build you have already seen before in the other slicers review. And that's all for this half part, which in fact is useful to link the head and this part and also the little hammer on the side, excuse me. And we're now going to see the front part of the body frame, which is again quite interesting. So yeah, I may do that first. Cut off the. So here's the one of the body sections. So as you can see, it's made from an other foot. So the new one you can see you can have in the Vorak set from 2009. And then he put some other parts. So this means using this one, then this famous axle of 3 plus a stud on the other side, which Shaddow is really used tons of time on his mock, and well, it really helped to have some interesting build, as you can see. So some other parts, these two parts with 2 holes, 2 pin holes, excuse me, and then on this part we're gonna link this slicer arm, which was in fact used on part 2. Also the connector, notice it's just here to fill the hole, but you will see that clearly on the finished model. So we're just gonna link that on this other 2 holes right there. And I think that's yes, I'm going to talk about the arms first, because apart from that, there is nothing more to add to the body frame. So yes, the arms are made with a custom double connector. This time, the 2 connectors are linked thanks to this Molten part. So again, he used some Molten part, which was not really easy to use on Mock, which is not really easy to use on Mock. Of course, this is also linked thanks to these 2 parts right there. Because, because of course, I think, this part are some pinholes, so of course if you just put an axle and then it will just fall apart. So you're really kind of forced, it was forced to put this gray part, which is also nice to the overall color scheme, of course. So then you got of course some connectors, and he put the metal arm from the rocks again, and then with this little parts link this part on the other side, which is useful to have these 2 kind of I don't have the name for this tool, but well, you have this tool right here, which is made with some other part also. And of course, he was supposed to add some axle right there to really block this part inside, because of course, if you just put some axle in the pinhole, it will just keep on moving. So here's a little technique to make the thing stronger and hold in a better way. And finally, the end, which is also kind of custom one, because it just uses this little part with a number on it, so 3 right there, and then I think it's a number 1 right there. So here how it works, again, you have all this in this part in this mock. Now we're gonna link the second arm. This means it looks like that if you look on the other side. So yeah, we're gonna link of course this part. So these 2 axles will be linked to the 2 axle hole of these 2 connectors. Excuse me, I have to. Yeah, I think. Excuse me, kind of take a little time, but here we go. And I think it works. Yes, it works. And then, as I said earlier, we're gonna link this part into these 2 little sections right here, these 2 little parts. Like that. And finally, you can see there is still an axle hole, so this means we're gonna cover all this part because it's quite feel empty. So we're gonna link that to this little part. We do not really hold well together, but of course it's just for details. So this means when you're gonna link that in there, it will hold perfectly. And I think we're done, guys, with this work model, or this work revamp, in fact. And it looked pretty nice. So now for the articulation section. So how does it work? Well, the legs have no problem, it seems. Yes, absolutely not. And of course it will block at 90 degrees, but it's pretty nice. And there, of course, because of this little part right here, you can see this little section, it's blocked really quickly on this part of the legs. But apart from that, I think it's worked pretty well. And then the shoulder, so no problem right there. Here again, I think there is, yes, you can do, you can go all the way up with the arms. The only problem is that this part keep falling off, so that's really annoying. I have to say, and I already said that in the beginning of the review. And whereas the heads are quite complicated because I suppose there is 2 fingers right there and another one here, so it's quite hard to understand how you're supposed to put the hands, but well, they are pretty well articulated also. And finally, the head, which can look on the side, down, up. So no big problem at all for the legs, for the head, excuse me, for the head. And also, you've got these two ball joints right here if you want to make the hammer go up, so kind of like the old school slicer, the old slicer set. It really is the same thing, in fact, just that this time, of course, you don't have a gimmick to turn and the parts move automatically. You have to put them by yourself. And finally, of course, you got a ball joint on the throwing disc arm, which can be launched. Well, the disc can be launched, not all the arm, of course. And I think that's quite all, guys, for this mock. So I'm maybe gonna try to do some pose, because I'm quite sure you can do some nice pose if you try. So yeah, like that. I think I'm gonna just maybe turn my just let me change. Maybe I'm gonna put this part in this way this time to change, because they are supposed, of course, to go in this way in his attack mode. So well, there we go. So that was my review of works as well, and also I remember this smoke was not made by me, it was made by Shaddow, so all credit goes to him. And what do I think about his mock? So see, it's a pretty good mock because it doesn't really have any big drawback apart from this part which keep falling off and which are silver, which I do not really like. But apart from that, it's a great little mock because it's quite sturdy, it's worked pretty well. Most of the parts are all custom made, so as you can see, as you have seen, excuse me, the body frame is custom made. The legs are custom made from a motor and body frame, which is quite hard to make, I have to say. The same goes for the double connectors of the arms. So see, it's all about a really nice custom made mock, and it's worked pretty well. It's not like some all custom made which keep falling off or stuff like that. This time it's pretty sturdy, pretty strong, and it's all smooth and well. So still, I quite like this mug because the color scheme is great, and he overall did a really good job on this mug. But again, that's my opinion. So feel free to post your opinion in the comment section of this review, and of course, if you have any questions of the mock, feel free to post them. I will answer them, or Shaddow will answer them. And well, I think that's quite all. So hope you enjoyed this review, hope you enjoyed the mock, and see you later for another Bionicle video review. Bye bye.